In 1876, Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone, and for the first few years, it was almost completely useless. Not because it didn't work. It worked fine. The problem was simpler and more brutal than that. If you were the only person in your city with a telephone, you couldn't call anyone. The device itself was flawless. The network was empty. Bell Telephone's early salespeople had the hardest job in history. They weren't just selling a product. They were selling a product whose value was literally zero until enough other people bought it too. Every pitch ended with the same unspoken problem. Yes, but who are you going to call? So, they did something clever. They gave telephones away to doctors. Just, here, take it, free. Because if your doctor has a telephone, you need a telephone. And if you have a telephone, your neighbor starts thinking about getting one. And once enough people have telephones, the next person doesn't need to be convinced. The value is self-evident. The network sells itself. This is network effects. And it is the single most powerful force in business that most people have never heard the name of. Here's the concept clean. A network effect exists when a product or service becomes more valuable as more people use it. A telephone with one user is worthless. With 2 users, it has some value. With 1 million users, it's essential infrastructure. The product didn't change. The network did. Compare that to, say, a toothbrush. Your toothbrush does not get better when your neighbor buys a toothbrush. These are independent objects. There is no network. Value stays flat no matter how many people own one. Most products are toothbrushes. A few are telephones. And the ones that are telephones, the ones with genuine network effects, tend to become the most powerful, most durable, most profitable businesses in human history. Facebook, WhatsApp, Visa, Uber, the New York Stock Exchange, English as a global language. All of them got powerful because of network effects. All of them are extremely hard to displace for the same reason. But here's the twist that makes this really interesting. Network effects don't just make products valuable. They create what economists call a winner-take-all dynamic. In markets with strong network effects, there's usually room for exactly one dominant player. Sometimes 2, rarely 3. Here's why. Imagine you're choosing between 2 messaging apps. App A has 10 million users. App B has 10,000. App A is maybe a little clunkier. App B has a cleaner design, better features, faster performance. But your friends are on App A. You pick App A. Of course you do. The value of a messaging app isn't the interface, it's who's on it. So App A keeps growing. App B keeps struggling. The gap widens. Eventually, App B disappears or pivots or gets bought for parts. This is why the better product often loses. Better in a network effects market doesn't mean better features, it means bigger network. And once one player gets big enough, the game is essentially over. You're not competing on product anymore. You're competing on momentum. There's a famous case study from the 1980s that makes this viscerally clear. VHS versus Betamax. If you're too young to know what those are, before streaming, before DVDs, people watched movies on cassette tapes. 2 formats competed for dominance. VHS, made by JVC, and Betamax, made by Sony. By most technical accounts, Betamax was better. The picture quality was sharper. The cassette was smaller. Industry insiders preferred it. Film buffs preferred it. VHS won. Why? Because JVC got VHS into more rental stores first, so more people bought VHS players. So rental stores stocked more VHS tapes because more customers had VHS players. So more people bought VHS players because the selection was better. Round and round until Betamax was dead. Sony made a technically superior product and lost to a network. The quality of the tape didn't matter. The size of the ecosystem did. You can trace the same dynamic through almost every major tech battle since. MySpace versus Facebook. BlackBerry versus iPhone. Google Plus versus, well, Google Plus tried very hard and Facebook did not care. Now, here's the part that gets uncomfortable. Network effects are incredible for the company that wins them. They create something called a moat, Warren Buffett's term for a competitive advantage that's hard to cross. A regular business has to keep competing, keep innovating, keep being better than the next guy. A business with strong network effects eventually reaches a point where you don't have to be better anymore. You just have to be the network. And leaving the network costs users too much. This is why you're still on Facebook even if you don't like Facebook. It's not because Facebook is a great product. It's because your aunt is on Facebook, and your college reunion group is on Facebook, and the local buy and sell page for your neighborhood is on Facebook. The network holds you even when the product fails you. Economists call this lock-in. The switching cost isn't money. It's your entire social graph. It's every contact you've built up, every group you're in, every history of every conversation. Moving to a different platform means starting from zero. The moat isn't technology. It's the accumulated weight of everyone else's inertia. And this creates a real tension that society is still figuring out. Network effects produce enormous value. They create the infrastructure that billions of people rely on every day. But they also produce enormous concentration. One company ends up owning the network that everyone needs. And because of lock-in, they can make the product worse, or raise prices, or treat users badly, and most users have nowhere to go. That's not a bug in the system. That's what network effects do when they run to completion. There's a subtler version of this that goes beyond tech, and I think it's the most underrated idea in the whole concept. Languages have network effects. English isn't the richest language. It isn't the most logical. It has baffling spelling, 17 irregular verbs, and the word kernel, which is pronounced kernel for reasons that make linguists visibly upset. But 1 billion people are learning English right now. Not because English is beautiful, because English is the network. If you want to do international business, read scientific papers, watch most of the internet's content, you need the English network. And once you need it, you contribute to it. You make English more valuable by speaking it, which makes more people learn it, which makes it more valuable. Which is why Mandarin, despite having more native speakers, has not displaced English as the global default. English had first-mover advantage and network effects locked it in. Same with QWERTY keyboards. Almost certainly not the optimal layout for typing. There are alternatives, Dvorak, Colmac, that studies suggest are faster to learn and more efficient. But QWERTY had network effects. Typewriter manufacturers standardized on it. Typists learned it. Schools taught it. The installed base of trained QWERTY typists made it the default for every keyboard forever. The world optimized around a suboptimal choice because the network got there first. So what do you do with this knowledge? If you're a user, understand that the product you're most loyal to might not be the best product. It might just be the biggest network. That's worth knowing, not to make you cynical, but to help you separate "this is genuinely good" from "this is where everyone is." If you're building something, network effects are the holy grail. Every startup wants them. Almost none figure out how to seed them. The telephone doctor's strategy, find the people whose participation makes everyone else want to participate, is still the playbook. Get the right nodes into the network first, and the network starts growing on its own. And if you're thinking about antitrust, regulation, competition policy, this is the core of every major tech debate right now. When a network becomes essential infrastructure, the company that owns it has power that goes beyond normal market power. How society handles that is one of the defining questions of the next few decades. Back to Alexander Graham Bell, 1876. Nobody wanted a telephone, until everybody needed one. The device didn't improve. The world around it filled in. And once it did, once the network reached a certain density, you couldn't imagine life without it. You couldn't conduct business without it. You couldn't, eventually, be a full participant in modern society without it. One technology, one network, zero competition. The telephone is in your pocket right now, and it knows everyone you know.